Okay, great. Well, hi again, everybody. My name is Nick Fedor, and I'm the Executive Director of Shaker Heights Development Corporation, joined by my colleague here, Tuba Belugla, who is our AmeriCorps team member. We've got a great panel here today featuring two Shaker businesses who are going to speak to their respective experiences about going through growth support and certification programs that are available to small business owners in the region. In the recent survey that we sent out in collaboration with the city's Economic Development Department, a significant number of responses mentioned wanting additional info on these types of small business support programs. So we put together this esteemed panel in direct response to that feedback. So we hope you find it useful. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get into the panel. If you could please remember to keep your mic muted if you're not speaking to cut down on background noise. And also for folks who aren't panelists to please turn off your video as it helps us with the recording process and folks who want to view it at a later date. And again, we are recording this, so if you missed something or just want to go back and watch it later, it will be available on SHDC's YouTube channel. So now I'd like to turn it over to Tuba to introduce our panelists today. Tuba?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Now with that housekeeping out of the way, let's get started and meet our panelists. We are joined today by Zosimo Maximo, who's co-founder and co-owner of GrooveRyde Fitness Studio located in the Vanaken district. We are also pleased to have Jumar Newell, who is the founder of LaunchArts Media located on Lee Road in the Chagrinli Commercial District. Let's start off with a quick overview of your prospective businesses, and let's start with Zosimo. Can you please tell us a little about GrooveRyde?
Sure. GrooveRyde started in 2015 in the basement of our house in Shaker. So I'm sorry, Catherine, if I didn't apply for a permit for my house to launch the company in my basement. But that is where we actually trained our first set of teachers. My wife and I moved from Los Angeles 10 years ago. So we, have always had our eye on fitness in LA and both New York kind of break fitness first. So we were, aware of what was happening, the big explosion of SoulCycle, Barry's Boot Camp, and some other big national brands that were really emerging. So we identified that the East Side didn't really have anything like a fitness boutique, a group fitness boutique. So we opened our first boutique in July of 2015 in Woodmere, and had a lot of success right out the gate, where we were able to open two more within the first 3.5 years of our business, with Vanaken being the latest. We specialize in indoor cycling, boxing, boot camp, yoga, bar. What we try to do is give many options as to a one-stop shop, something we call a micro boutique. That way there is something for everyone. So we are extremely happy to have been back open through the pandemic in June, and looking forward to a very good summer at Vanaken. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Jumar, let's hear a little about LaunchArts Media.
I'd be happy to share. So my name is Jumar Newell, CEO, founder, owner, janitor of LaunchArts Media. I do it all. I'm just kidding, no. But no, we started in 2014, and LaunchArts Media is specifically branding and advertising for small businesses. So we focus on small businesses and brands, and primarily we do that through videography and social media management. Now it's more than just me by this point. We're a small team, but we like to focus on our clients through a more so retainer basis, but we also do projects, special projects. Some of the more popular, especially in this day and age, is we prepare virtual programs. We'll do mini documentaries, but we also do content marketing. So content video marketing for small businesses, promotional advertisements, your run-of-the-mill commercial that a small business or a brand might, want to have done. We do it from a soup to nuts basis, meaning we concept and create and deliver for those businesses. So that in line with our social media, our top two services. We've evolved, but we still have some services in photography and graphic design. And we really just work to kind of get our footprint in this Northeast Ohio region. So we like to work with, professional services, law firms, real estate agents, but we also like to work with civic organizations, from anywhere from the Sacred Heights Development Corp to the city of Cleveland. We work with the city of Akron, with the Akron Urban League. And that's become a niche for us, is to help small businesses grow. And that's our purpose in this region.
Excellent. Thank you both for being here today. Now I'll turn it back over to Nick to get started with some questions.
Thanks, Tuba. And thank you both again for sharing that overview. Zosimo, let's start off with a question for you and related to the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program that you completed. If you could talk a little bit about kind of what initially interested you or drew your attention to that program, and what some of your goals were for both your business, GrooveRyde, and as an entrepreneur going into that program.
Yeah, we were growing rather quickly, and opportunities were coming our way. At the time before entering, we were approached by RMS to come to Van Aken. We were also looking at opening downtown. Several other development groups like Pinecrest and Stark were kind of knocking on our door as well. So we needed help managing that growth. And I had heard about 10,000 small business through another participant that was in a previous cohort. And the referral is a great way to get into these programs. And I try to refer as many people as I can to them. So you go through an interview process. There was the 10,000 small business team along with Jumpstart. And I made it through into cohort 13. And one of the biggest things about what they promote is to find a way as, the multi-hyphenate founder that is doing everything from, sweeping the floors to the books to, teaching classes and running the services. They really want you to stop, working in your business, as they say, and on your business. So what it enabled me to do was to take 12 Fridays. It was a 12-week course, I believe, and spend the whole day with them, phones off, and really looking at enrolling our team members to run the business on every Friday when I was able to step out. And, that gave me confidence really to say, hey, this is a route I want to pursue. I can't work 100 hours a week and only be the only, key holder that knows everything. That we need to start, getting a internal team together that we trust, that we can put some of these, duties on. So my wife and I didn't have to carry the load. So that was probably the biggest reason why I went in to the program.
That's excellent. Just a quick follow-up to that. It sounds like that GrooveRyde was in kind of a hyper growth mode at the time that you participated. Do you think there would be benefit for businesses or program participants in the program if they weren't in that hyper growth mode, and maybe if they were looking to grow more, or if they were at some other stage? Do you think there's benefit for businesses in different stages of their life cycle, so to speak?
Absolutely. You know, with 10,000, you do have to have a certain revenue from the previous year that you have to that qualifies you. So we met that number. But there were people, 25 years into their business. There were people like me, a year and a half into their business, and people in between. And it was, I think that was another amazing part of the program, is I met so many local entrepreneurs from West Side, East Side to we had a couple people from Columbus that joined us as well. And it was, you saw that it could be, scary sometimes, that you feel like you're living on this island as an entrepreneur. And then you meet others, in that similar realm that, all are kind of having similar experiences and similar challenges. And then it becomes not so scary once you meet everybody and you start to network with them.
Excellent. Jumar, let's switch gears to the program, or certification, I guess, rather, that LaunchArts recently completed. LaunchArts is a minority-owned business enterprise, or MBE. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what the process was like going through?
Yeah. So the MBE certification, well, first off, what it is, as the MBE states, is a for-profit business in the United States that is 51% owned by a group that's considered a minority group. So for me, Black male, African American, assuredly more than 51% owning my business. Those are the basic qualifications. And the process was, well, personally for me, I was looking to expand my resource opportunities and kind of just networking in that regard. And I came across working with the Jumpstart program, and they recommended the MBE certification to me. So I then kind of walked that process, and that was at the top of 2019. And I did go to a pre-certification workshop in downtown Cleveland, where I kind of got a lot of great, informative, insights from others. And it really, really enthused me to go forward with the process. And in a matter of, I would say, a couple of months of kind of sharing information with the, certification committee, some financial information, as well as just general business information, definitely stating and having proof that I'm 51% owner, and a few other aspects. By that summer, especially, I was fully certified.
That's great. So it sounded like maybe it was about a 6-month time frame application process from start
inside of 6 months. Because the top of 2019, it was about February that I began to walk into the process. There was an instance where a representative came and kind of surveyed my business, and then there's just the general paperwork. There was, what can happen in terms of you're running your business, and the processing time might delay it a bit. But I would say, on average, the certification is probably maybe even a little less than my experience. But within 6 months, I was certified.
That's excellent. Can you talk? I know you mentioned the Jumpstart program and the Minority Business Assistance Center, but can you talk a little bit about the other kind of support or resources that are out there, whether it's existing certified businesses or businesses going through the certification process, and how that helped kind of with the certification process? Because I know for some of these things, the amount of paperwork can be a little overwhelming. So if you could talk about the resource and assistance during the process.
Absolutely. So prior to my experience with MBE, I had experience with the WBC and ECDI programs, which also kind of gave us that insight and assistance in terms of preparing paperwork. But yeah, the MBE process with the Urban League of Cleveland, they were kind of working in tandem to kind of help facilitate the process. So, there are a lot of groups out here that will help you walk towards your MBE certification.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Zosimo, going back to 10,000 small businesses, and you mentioned one of the kind of overarching themes was working on your business and as opposed to in it. Is there another thing that kind of stands out, or some key takeaways that you learned during your time that might be helpful to share with other business owners who are considering a program like this?
I think one of the biggest challenges for us was really starting to understand our books and our numbers. We really had to examine, every expense versus every opportunity for revenue. So yeah, you tend, as business owners, want to do the fun stuff, and the numbers and the financials aren't always it. So that was out of the 12-week program, that was a one that really stood out to me. Is that I really had to understand that and understand our growth potential, and make decisions based on the numbers and not so much anything else. I think the other takeaways were just a growth plan. You walk out of there with a pretty detailed 10-year growth plan. Ours was to stay aggressive and to open 1 to 2 new locations per year throughout the region. COVID kind of got in the way of that. So, now we just kind of go back to that 27-page business plan we put together. It's a growth plan, not so much a business plan that you would submit to open your business, but a growth plan. And now, digital has become a big part of that, and we have a foundation that was built from that growth plan that we can kind of alter and modify and see if it still applies.
That's excellent. Yeah, I can certainly imagine how doing a program like this prior to the pandemic certainly changes things during and after, but that's great to hear that there are still relevant parts of it that help support your business. Jumar, going back to the certification, the MBA or the MBE certification, excuse me. Were there kind of key takeaways or learnings you had either during the certification process or after that have stood out to you and think are worth sharing with other business owners considering the certification?
Yeah, so the certification process itself was very instructive. They helped you every step of the way. So they made it easy. They made it an easy process for the most part. And then the benefits and takeaways afterward that I would like to cite would probably be just the positioning that you then are privy to holding, being on the searchable database, having the opportunity to compete for statewide, agency bids, proposal writing, subcontracting onto other proposals. And if you're like me, the exposure is helpful for other businesses that are even along the same lines of industry. I've been a part of, a teaming of different bidders, and the networking opportunities are really beneficial. To be an MBE certified business really shores up a lot more opportunity, because a lot of contractors are looking for that certification. So to have that certification automatically, puts you in a position to get a better chance at that opportunity. So that's that plus the workshops that they continuously offer. You can never stop learning in your business. You can never stop learning how to position yourself for the best opportunities. And I value it all.
That's excellent. In terms of the workshops that are continually offered, can you talk a little bit about what kind of topics those are covered and some of the ones you found beneficial?
Yeah, so like even when I mentioned the proposal writing, that isn't something that everybody is, comfortable with or used to doing. And those were the ones that I really participated in more than others, because a lot of the process of being on an MBE certification, searchable database is that, okay, they know your business, you have your information in the database. Now they would like to see your proposal, and just the aspects of proposal writing. I really, really, took advantage of that. Yeah.
That's excellent. That's great. Thank you. Zosimo, going back to Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses again, and kind of looking at it compared to other programs that you and GrooveRyde have participated in, such as maybe Jumpstart's Core City program, which I know you guys were in somewhat recently. Are there elements that complement and align with those other programs, or things that stand out in contrast that you learned in 10,000 small businesses compared to some of those other programs that are out there?
Yeah, I think each program, has its own purpose. And we did do Core City, and that prepared us to open up downtown. That was very much heavily into writing a good business plan to secure financing and to look at demographics, look at trends, look at things that were happening downtown. So yeah, the 10,000 small business was the growth plan. The core impact program was kind of the pitch and helping us prepare for a business plan to open up a facility. So definitely had two different approaches that complemented each other. And then my wife also last year did the Bounce Innovative program down in Akron.
Excellent. And you found that complemented kind of the growth plan and those other workshops well?
Yeah, I would say Bounce had a little bit of more overlap with maybe Jumpstart.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure if you would have to do both, but we, my wife and I kind of divide and conquer, and we like doing them because of the people that you meet, of the networking that can happen. You're always meeting somebody within the cohort, or one of the educators, or a guest speaker that they bring in. Akron was on our radar as a location that we were going to open next. So yeah, it was important for us to kind of test the waters out there and do a program out there.
Excellent. Jumar, kind of along those same lines that Zosimo was mentioning, what advice or what kind of insight would you offer other business owners, either considering MBE certification or just taking advantage of some of the various different small business support programs that are out there?
Yeah, so very succinctly, the advice I would offer is to try to be involved in as many of these programs as you possibly can. They can only be helpful to you. And to do the kind of the comparison, as Zosimo just did, I'm a recent graduate of the Core City Impact program myself. And just to kind of show the parallels, the MBE program I really looked at as mounting a presence, or positioning you for opportunity. And then the Core City program was about the growth and the refinement of your business. So both of them kind of work in tandem. And like I said, I was introduced to one from the other, and everything is kind of it's a great cultivating process towards understanding business systems, channels, networking, but also understanding your business better, and really structuring your business to give it the best, I guess, stance and refinement to be able to handle any opportunities that come your way. It's all beneficial.
That's excellent. Zosimo, I know you mentioned the networking component and just meeting other folks and learning from peers and other business owners. Anything else you want to point out or highlight of, the benefits of doing either Goldman Sachs or these other types of support programs?
So we still are in contact with all the programs. Jumpstart, we're in communication with constantly. And that is, both growth, both development. Goldman Sachs, Jim Garrett and Patrice Blakemore are assisting us right now with a new project where we're going out into the venture capitalist world, trying to raise a significant amount of money for an extension that we're doing. So, you could still pick up the phone, you could still email anybody within the program, and they're always willing to help or point you in the right direction. So I think for anybody interested in doing these programs, know that a relationship can come out of it. And it's really some people take advantage of it, some don't. We do. It's having advisors from an independent side or freelance side could be very, very costly. Going through those programs, those resources are available to you, and they want to have discussions with you. So we take advantage of it, and they've been all complimentary, and we've saved thousands and thousands of dollars of them maybe, answering legal questions that we might have. They sit in development meetings with us. They've come and met landlords with us. So, we look at them as just a big part of our team now. And that is why I would, strongly recommend anyone to go through any of these programs and to build a relationship with the organization, because you never know when you'll need them.
That's a great point and great insight and learnings from you both. Thank you very much. If anybody has any questions for either Jumar or Zosimo, feel free to put those in the chat. I know Tuba received a couple of questions from folks who weren't able to attend today, but the folks who are on the line right now, feel free to put any questions you may have for either Jumar or Zosimo in the chat now. But Tuba, I'll turn it over to you to go to some audience questions from folks who weren't able to make it.
Thank you, Nick. Jumar, this question is for you. Can you tell us about how being certified as MBE set yourself apart from other businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tuba. Again, it really just places you in a better position for the opportunities, especially when a lot of those statewide contracts go and they look for the certification process. And it's really a validity to assure that the business that they're handing you is going to be carried out by a reputable business. So it puts you at a better advantage to receive more business. And it also, like I said, the byproduct of it is, even if you're on like a bid and someone else may get selected, you're in the company of other industries and brands who, will then consider you for future opportunities. So there's always an upside to the entire process, and being an MBE certified business definitely gives you a leg up.
Awesome. There's another question for you. How long do you remain certified, and do you need to renew your certification? And if so, how often?
That's an awesome question. Yes, you do need to renew your certification. I believe now COVID kind of made things a little murky in terms of my understanding of it, but I believe it's every year. And I think they kind of did some extension prior, during the COVID 2020. But I'm actually in the process of making sure that my certification maintains. So I'm actually in the recertification process, but it's not to say that I've defaulted or anything to that effect. Yep.
Oh, great, thank you. Zosimo, how was it working with other business owners in your cohort?
It was great. What they do is they try to group you within your within your neighborhood. So I was grouped with just some amazing business owners, and we started using each other's services. So there was an accountant in my group, and I started using her. There was a graphic artist in the group, and we were able to, do a few things with her as well. So I think, and then we, outside of the program, many of us stayed connected. We still go to lunch from time to time. We check in with each other. Goldman had a national convention a few years ago, and I think there were about 80 of us from this area, from various cohorts, that actually traveled to DC together and spent a weekend at the national convention. So there's a little bit of a brethren when you go through the program, and you start to meet people like, hey, you went through that, and and it just invites a conversation, and invites some connection with local business owners, knowing that there have been many cohorts now. They still invite us to all the graduations and stuff like that. So you could be as active as you want to be, and I try to be, I try to find a balance there, but I try to do as many things as I can with the group and stay connected.
Sounds wonderful. And another question, what was the most challenging concept that you learned from 10,000 Businesses program?
I think, again, going back to the financials, a lot of business, your initial business plan, when you approach a bank, they're going to want to see 5 years of projections. A lot of those times they're going to be off. As we have opened, a few more locations, we try to get those business, those projections, those 5-year projections, as close as possible. I would say our first one was totally off, over projected, which you don't want to do, because, and then you just think on paper, you're going to be making tons of money, and the bank's going to give you a lot of money to open your business. And then, those projections, especially if you over project, you're going to be in a little bit of a pickle right away. So I am a, advocate for getting as close as possible to making sure those projections are either conservative or, right on the money. And I think that was an eye opener going through that program, talking to, many of the financial advisors that were leading those conversations to really understand that I probably knew, just way little than I needed to at that point. And I'm lucky that I got into the program early to, realize that.
That's great. Zosimo and Jumar, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and to share your insights and experience with fellow business owners. I'll turn it back over to Nick for closing remarks.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you to both, but thank you both, Zosimo and Jumar. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to share your insights about these various programs. It's one thing to hear from people who work in the programs or on the programs about why you should do it. I think it's another great perspective to hear from folks who've actually done it and talking with their peer business owners like you guys are doing. So really, again, thank you for taking the time to share your respective experiences. So I don't see any other questions in the chat right now. So I think that wraps everything up. If anybody has any ideas or feedback for future topics, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Tuba or myself. And we will be in touch soon with what is on schedule for the June panel discussion. But feel free to reach out with any topics for future meetings as well. So with that, I think we're good to wrap things up here. Thank you both again to Jumar and Zosimo, and everybody have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.